Well, he did it. He freaking did it. Ash Ketchum is officially a Pokemon champion. So, who's he being replaced by? Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Resort Originals. As you guys know, or at least I just mentioned that Ash Ketchum, he is now a Pokemon champion. And if you guys referred to my last video, it was talking about me predicting him actually becoming champion, because the new leak, or at least information that we got from the Pokemon Japan anime, is that the Sword and Shield anime is going to be featuring all different regions, which led me to believe that Ash Ketchum is going to win it all, and he's going to be basically walking into the sunset. That's it for Ash, and now we're gonna get a brand new protagonist, or we'll see what my list will be. But it seems like Ash is going to be replaced, and with this list that I'm going to be giving you guys is who's going to be replacing Ash, and it's going to be based off of who I think is going to be replacing him, who I would like to replace him, and what the most plausible option is as far as who will be basically taking the helm. We got new characters coming, so let's dive into what specifically I'm talking about before I ramble on too long. So my first answer to this is everybody, and the reason why I say everybody is because we're going to be featured in multiple regions. There's no way really any character can kind of hop to multiple regions throughout an entire arc. An arc is going to be about 3 years in length, which is kind of the length of each generation, so we could probably see multiple characters showing off their specific region and whatever journey they have in there. So we probably will get a protagonist in Kanto, get a protagonist in Johto, get one in Galar, but we'll just not get a full story that would last 3 years. We might get kind of it trickled in, where maybe it'd be like maybe like a 20 episode event that would be within each region to kind of bring more fans into just knowing everything about Pokemon, rather than just being stuck in one region, where now we're going to be able to see all the regions and what Pokemon has to offer than just what is currently going on now. So I think that's going to be their brand strategy and marketing strategy going forward, which is why the future or the upcoming anime is going to be just called Pokemon. That's it. Nothing else, no tagline below it. It's just going to be Pokemon. So I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put everything together into one franchise. Instead of splitting it up into regions, everything's together, and we're going to see multitudes of different stories and elements that's going to be brought together within the world of Pokemon rather than a region of Pokemon. So with seeing the different characters, there's so many different things that could happen within each region, where each region kind of has their own specific element to it that we wouldn't necessarily see in another region. So for example, in Hoenn we have contests, and we didn't really see contests again, so that's specific to Hoenn. So whoever the Hoenn protagonist would be, we would see that person only competing in contests, because that's going to be the aspect that we want out of Hoenn. But when you think of a Pokemon world, there's so much more to just that. There's all these different things that go on, so I think exploring those different things would be great as far as showing different events in each region. So for example, there's battling, there's contests, there's Mega Evolution research, there's Alolan form research. There's literally somebody to collect all of the Pokemon, because that's literally the tagline of the show. Why wouldn't we want to see that in an actual anime format? We get to see undercover spy work like Lance, where they get to go and take down these evil organizations without us even knowing. So getting more in depth of that would be awesome. We could also go into the past and see what it was like during the Pokemon War. Lieutenant Surge, main protagonist, take us through a day in your life when life was so tough and what it took to be able to protect the people of Kanto and more. There's also the Todd Snap of the world, where we could see him going on crazy adventures to be able to see legendary Pokemon, and what it would take for him to take that perfect photo and be able to do that multiple times for different legendary Pokemon. Boom, you can do that in every single region. Now these are just spitball ideas I'm coming up with the top of my head, but there's just so many different aspects that you could come up with in the universe of Pokemon. Why would you just only stick to battling? There's so much. So we have number 2, and this is something that I think is still a chance of happening, but it's going to be something that I also want, and that would be Red basically taking the helm of the new protagonist. And the reason why I say Red is because he's already iconic, everybody knows who he is, so he'd be a familiar character to be able to put as the headliner of a future series. And he's already had a bunch of adaptations of him. I mean, for crying out loud, Ash Ketchum is an adaptation of Red. So we could see a new story as far as what Red is, because we've seen adaptations of him in Origins, and I think we've seen it in Generations. We've also seen it in the manga. So everybody knows who Red is, so it'd be an easy character to basically kind of run the entire anime from, rather than just the video games. What Red's story could be is his story could be done with, but we didn't really get to see his story after Kanto and Johto, or I guess really more of Kanto. And we did get to see him in Sun and Moon, but we really don't know what happened in between those two times. So there's a lot to fill in. So the way I could see it is going into Red's entire journey and seeing what he's done in each region, which is a way to be able to show every single region. It just wouldn't be in real time. We'd basically be telling a story of different things that are at least important things that we would want to see that happened to him throughout his entire journey to be able to get to this point. But what they can do is with this specific Red character is just kind of fill in the blank of what could have happened between him when he was like 10 years old to now him where he's in his 20s. So I think it'd be really interesting to see that story of an element where it's more of maybe Red would be the narrator in the story, and we would kind of get little glimpses of what his experience is of becoming a Pokemon champion, what he does after the fact. So what do you guys think? Red? Yes? No? Maybe so? I don't know. Let's get to number 3. So number 3 would be a Sword and Shield protagonist, and by that it would basically be showcasing the Galar region, but those characters wouldn't necessarily stay in that region, where maybe they would just really kind of use the battling as their main aspect, or it may not be someone that's just starting on their journey. It's someone who has spent a lot of time in Galar and they've already kind of done or at least experienced what the Galar region is like, so we kind of just get straight to the battles as far as them wanting to be able to take on the specific gym leaders and then going on to the champion. So we're going to get more of a battling style when it comes to Sword and Shield, because it seems to be emphasized, at least within the video games, because they're really putting a heavy emphasis on it, so I could see that translate into the anime as well. So we basically get a glimpse of Galar, but we just wouldn't spend all of our time there, where these seasoned trainers that we got to meet in Galar, once they kind of complete their journey or they realize they don't need to be here right now, they could basically fly to other regions and figure out what specifically they want to get out of each region. So we could get maybe glimpses of each region with that character from the Galar region. Now it's kind of tough to be able to get them to travel to each one, but I guess if they're a little bit older, even though it wouldn't really make sense, I could still kind of see them maybe being 12, 13 years old, maybe not as young as 10, because there'd be the whole traveling factor as far as just them being mature enough to basically be going everywhere and also be a seasoned veteran Pokemon trainer, so they know exactly what they're doing in each region rather than just, oh, I'm gonna go try this out, let's go have some fun. So for number 4, we would get a brand new trainer that we have never met before. Now, as far as what their story could be, it could be similar to the character I just explained as far as the Galar protagonist, but with this one, it would be about 20 episodes in each region, and they would have about 8 episodes of the gym battles. They would have 8 episodes of training in between gym battles, and then they'd have about 4 episodes or 5 episodes about them taking on the Elite Four. So with the battle theme that seems to be predominant within Sword and Shield, I could see maybe the anime being less of a filler anime and just get to the point where we just want to see some great battles and what it took for them to get there without seeing all these side stories that come with the anime. I mean, it's going to go on for 3 years. There is a lot of filler for one region, so if we can just kind of kick all the filler out and we just kind of get to the what we want to see, actually, I think it could actually work. So if we did that formula for every single generation, and that would be about 20 episodes will be about 4 months. So there would be about 3 seasons, or at least 3 regions in a year. So 3 times 3 is 9. So it'd kind of get us pretty close to where we need to be when it comes to advancing into Generation 9. So we could see something like that. I'd be pretty into it because I don't need all the filler episodes. I just want to see the battles, want to see what you did to overcome them, what it's like to go against the Elite Four, because we've never really seen that in an anime format. Now we've seen it in like the little shorts on YouTube and the Generations and Origins and stuff, but as far as like a core anime that comes on every single Saturday morning, that we haven't seen. So I think it'd be interesting to kind of see what this character goes through, why they're still motivated to go to each region, accomplish the gym battles, go against the Elite Four, where maybe we see them succeed and sometimes we don't see them succeed. And it would just be kind of a give and take to see what it takes for this character to keep building and keep us invested in that character as each generation goes on. So I'd be pretty open to that idea, just because we're getting someone brand new, so there's nothing that we have expectations for. It's a brand new slate and they can do what they want with it. But as far as the age range, I feel like that would kind of go to would be a little bit older. I'd probably say ages 9 to 12 rather than ages like 5 to 6, where I think the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime would kind of start at if you'd be interested in it. So I think they could go to an older audience because of the competitive battling, and it takes a little bit more thinking when it comes to actually strategizing behind it rather than just over leveling your Pokemon and then just sweeping through everything, where there's more to learn about the game than just that. And once you kind of go into the competitive format, you'll understand what I mean. I actually have 2 characters, and the reason why I have 2 and they can be compiled together is because they are champions. And by that, I mean Lance and Blue. Now we'll go with Blue first because Blue was champion for a very short time. But we could kind of go into a Marvel style where it's a what if series, and what if Blue became champion. Now Blue's a pretty arrogant character, so I feel like there's a lot of character development that could happen even if he becomes champion, or what does it take for him to finally be humbled to be someone that we want to root for and someone that we genuinely enjoy watching every single episode. I think it might be tough to do because it is a rival, and rivals are more of someone you want to beat rather than someone that you want to watch. So it would take a little bit of effort, or a lot of effort, with the story writers to make sure this is something that we would be invested in as far as the character goes. But we've never seen a rival as the main protagonist, and I guess that wouldn't really make him a rival, would it? But I mean, since we already know Blue as a rival to basically us being Red, I think they could still make that work. So I think it'd be interesting there. And then as far as Lance goes, Lance is a champion and he's been a champion for a long time. And I would like to see what he does in his everyday life as a champion. It's not just waiting for someone to battle. It's not that. We've literally seen what he's done in the Gold and Silver series, where he's had to take on a Red Gyarados and he had to help take down Team Rocket. So I could really see that as something that could be used as him as more of kind of like an actual like FBI, but like a Pokemon FBI agent, basically, where he's doing all these undercover missions to be able to keep the region safe. And since it takes place in multiple regions, you could kind of see where he is called when he is needed for assistance. So he could jump from region to region because he's very experienced, he's a champion, so he has a lot of good Pokemon to use, and he would be someone that I would want to call if there's this big takeover basically that I need to get help from to be able to prevent this from happening. So seeing elements like that in the story where it's not necessarily we need gym battles, but we could just kind of see a whole different story of Pokemon, because you guys got to remember, it's a Pokemon world. Not everything is a linear story. There's so many things that come to Pokemon. So I think just seeing a different perspective of a Pokemon character rather than just being this one trainer that has to complete the badges, and seeing a different element that we get within Pokemon as far as seeing what a champion does every single day would be really interesting for me to see. So I think I'd be interested to see what you guys think specifically with these ideas that I've had. So that's going to be the end of my list. And yeah, let me know in the comments comment section below what your guys' ideas are for Ash Ketchum being replaced, who you think it's going to happen, why do you think it could happen, and pretty much anything that goes into your noggin right here, just put it in the comments. I love reading your guys' comments. It's like my favorite part of YouTube, to be honest, because I get to interact with you guys, because the whole thing I like to do with YouTube is to spit out my ideas and let you guys hear, but at the same time, I don't want to talk to a wall. I want to make sure you guys are understanding where I'm coming from, but I also want to see what you guys think of my ideas as well. So please leave something in the comment section below. I'm going to give it to Ash Ketchum to sign us out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey trainers, Ash Ketchum here to thank you for watching the Poke Resort. Become a Pokemon Master by subscribing to Austin's channel. Don't forget to see his other recent videos so you can watch them all. Pikachu and I have surfing lessons with Austin's Alolan Raichu, so we'll catch you later.